I'm Clement, and this is a tour of the application Family Photo History. This is going to be a tour. It's not going to cover everything in the application, but what it will do is give you a brief overview of what this application can do. I want to start out by saying use the user guide that's on the developer site to get more detailed information. The application was designed so that you can take family history by a record of the individual. You can put a title in if you want to, and then there's additional information you can add plus some notes about the person. Now this is similar to a diary. It can also be used in a ancestry type of a situation where you're keeping a record of the person from research using the people's search information, or you can create photo books based on the tools that are available in the photo tools area. You can make videos and store videos with a URL that goes out on the web and actually runs them from the web. And the same thing for photos. Something like Picasa can be used, or other photo websites where you can trap and use URL and run those particular slideshows or individual pictures. This application uses these plus marks here on the app to describe information about the app, giving support information. The idea of this application using photos and video and then narrative that is based on your people search information to write information about the person. Let's say that starting out that there would be a list as you add people. It actually creates a select list where you can select individuals within your application. So if you're doing a diary or something like that, or an ancestry, you can pick the person that you want to look at, and then you'd be looking at their record. For example, if I wanted to change over to another person, I just click the icon in the corner. Let's look at the people list. There's only 2 records in here now, but if you wanted to add as many as you wanted to, you could have individual records for each individual person with the notes that we created in the notes area, and additional information that supports things like telephone number, zip code, town, and location where they live currently. If you want to take it out further, you can do each individual person in your people record and run a narrative like a diary about that person based on the information that you put in the personal record for each person. There's a thing called the people UDFs, or user-defined fields, where you create your own field that is a title field and another input field, and then you can run them across and then create multiple records for as many things as you want to do that will trap your defined information the way you want to prepare it. Best photo is used where you take a photograph, and it can be any size photograph as long as it doesn't exceed 350 kilobytes. And that's an issue that the iPad cannot load multiple application photos without causing slowdown or crashing if you get them over 350 kilobytes. If you want to view the individual photos, and these are best photos you pick from the many that are out on the web if you have them out there, you can click the picture, the photo icon, and bring the picture up so you can read about the person, and it tells you the ID, the size of the photo, and you can move between the different records by clicking back and forth. To get back to the original record, click the return. This application is used internationally, so there's a place where you can add your own local language that will change the information on the screens. For example, this information here, and there's additional 2 screens of more language fields that you can modify. All you have to do is modify the second field. This is the keywords that are used normally in this field, and then you can change them to your font and your language for your country to change the application language. Let's take a walk through now and start looking at some of the things in this application. For example, the people search. The people search uses a URL that you add by using this icon up here. You can go in and you can add, using the information on that screen, to add as many URLs as you want to use as research sites. In this particular case, in the Google screen, if I type in a name, for example, my name, you can see that there are many things that can be shown about an individual person. Surprisingly, there could be a lot of information about each individual person. In this case, if I look in here, I see all the things that I've done as far as apps that are created that are in Google. It's kind of overwhelming to see all the stuff that's in there on an individual person. what I would do if I were doing something like Ancestry or information, I can go back in history and track information and take photos that are available on the internet for family things and add them to this, either in the photos or if you do videos for events or family things, you can store those in here as well. One of the things that it does allow you to do using these attributes is that you can store many, many different videos or photos from different sites all in one application. And that's this application where you do the family history. Now, there's also a narrative here if you want to write something about things that you've done in the different sites to track back and find them again. And there's also a place to jump between the records if you're in the search site to look at different people. For example, I'm in Grayton now. I can run over to my name and bring up a different thing, for example, like Facebook, where I was last at. And I can use Facebook to do research either on myself or other people that I want to track, either for diary or ancestry or whatever. Let's go back to the main now and go back to videos. In the videos, I'm using a URL in this page, right in this field. And basically what happens, if I click on the icon photo next to it, it'll load that video that is now on. And what that does is bring up and run a video that I made, and you can see that I have a number of them on YouTube right now for applications that I've written. So you can either store your own videos or videos that were done by somebody professionally or somebody in your family. So you go back to the videos, you can see that this one's on YouTube. There's a little bit about who's in the video and what it's about, the name of it, and the person that actually did it. You can add as many videos as you want. Let's take a look at photos. In photos, again, you can have as many photos as you want. I've created one here that has a family history in it. And basically what I've done is I've gone out and take photos and scanned them in and put them into my app where I can see the photos myself. And I can run a family history. In fact, you can see I've got my grandparents in here. And I can do a pop-up to look at each individual picture. And if I wanted to, I could copy this picture and then put it into a record. I even have articles out of newspapers in here. So I have a lot of different things. This is one of my uncles that was who won the Distinguished Silver Star in World War II. If I want to return, I just click onto the photo icon over at the top where it brings me back to this page. And if I wanted to do things like research with places to add my pictures to a photo book, there are all kinds of application locations here for photos and using photos and either pictorial editing screens. You can add as many as you want, and it's the same thing as the last screen where you can add to this screen by clicking the icon and adding additional applications where you can see them on the web and also find and locate things that you want to use again in the future. So this acts like bookmarks in this area. Okay, well, this is a short tutorial on how this application works. It can be used in many different ways. It's just how creative you can be with it, and you may find that there are things like using company employees to run an employee history or events in a company. So you can find a lot of different ways to use it. I mentioned Ancestry, or even a young person can use it as a diary and keep information about their friends and things that they've done. Thank you for taking this tour, and I hope you have fun with this application. Thank you.